CNN Headline News. I'm Gordon Graham. Police investigating the shooting death of Gianni Versace are getting more tips about his suspected killer, Andrew Cunanan. A South Florida pawn shop clerk says she bought a gold coin from Cunanan 8 days before the killing. She says he signed a receipt using his real name and left a required thumbprint. The coin is believed to have been stolen from one of 4 other men Cunanan is suspected of killing. Newsweek magazine reports a Brazilian woman claims to have video and photos of Cunanan at a July 13th party at Versace's mansion. The fashion designer's body was found in front of his home 2 days later. Investigators are watching South Florida's gay community for signs of the alleged male prostitute.
Well, the gay community obviously is at risk, but in Cunanan's state of mind at this stage of the game, his ability to just get a meal. He can't walk into a McDonald's and get a McDonald's and use the men's room. He may come out to find police waiting for him. So food, lodging, a place to lay his head down to rest, transportation, mobility, all become paramount issues for him. So, a person sitting on a park bench eating a sandwich could be killed for his sandwich. A person getting into his car could be killed for his car. The gay community at risk, everybody's at risk in this issue.
Police speculate Cunanan may be posing as a woman to avoid detection. 4 people arrested for allegedly enslaving dozens of Mexican immigrants in New York face arraignment in federal court today. 3 other men were arraigned yesterday on state charges. Yesterday, police found more than 60 illegal immigrants, many of them deaf and mute, huddled in 2 apartments in Queens. They claimed they were forced to sell trinkets to pay for their passage into the United States. The man suspected of running the operation remains at large. The logjam over proposed tax cuts may give way soon to a compromise. At a private meeting last night, senior Clinton administration officials told Senate tax writers the White House is open to making a deal. The goal is to cut $135 billion in taxes over 5 years. One area of disagreement, the $500 per-child tax credit. Charles Bierbauer explains how competing proposals will affect lower-income families.
Marie and Ricky McCumber came to Washington to make a point for the Democrats. They could use that $500 a child tax credit.
But when you're trying to raise a 13-year-old son and his shoes, he outgrows his shoes twice a year.
13-year-old John and his 10-year-old sister Becky stayed home in West Virginia, while Marie, a receptionist, and husband Ricky, a delivery driver, became Senator Jay Rockefeller's show-and-tell example of a family in need.
Well, you would have that $500 if the Democratic plan passed.
The McCumbers, who expect to earn $20,800 this year from their $5 an hour jobs, would actually get $495 from the child tax credit in President Clinton's formula. They would not be eligible for the credit Republicans offer. Republicans draw the line for those already benefiting from the Earned Income Tax Credit, which pays back much of the tax bill for low-income working families. That's why Democrats repeatedly show off clean-cut moms and dads and kids to ask why Republicans would deny them a few $100. The Democrats say these are taxpayers. The McCumbers this year should pay $495 in income taxes and $1,591 in payroll taxes to Social Security and Medicare funds. The earned income credit of $1,788, which they'd receive, would reduce their overall tax burden to $298. While Democrats think the idea of helping low-income working families is a winning argument, Republicans say they already get help from American taxpayers with what amounts to a welfare payment. Marie McCumber doesn't see the Earned Income Tax Credit that way.
It helped me put clothes and shoes on my kids. It's not welfare. I earned it. I work. I don't sit down and do nothing.
Without a solution for the child credit, there will be no tax cuts.
We're going to have to come to an agreement on all these things to get to a conclusion, and we have some ideas of how maybe we can get to agreement.
One problem is the overall $85 billion limit on these cuts. The more the child credit costs, the less there may be for other tax cuts Republicans might want more, such as capital gains. Charles Bierbauer, CNN, Washington.
Junior House Republicans are admitting some responsibility for the turmoil gripping the GOP, but they say they would not have tried to oust House Speaker Newt Gingrich last week without a strong push from other party leaders. Representative Joe Scarborough of Florida says he believes high-level Republicans, including the third-ranking Congressman Tom DeLay of Texas, knew and approved of their plans. On CNN's Late Edition, Scarborough was asked whether DeLay was behind the attempted coup.
Everybody's pointing fingers at Tom DeLay. Tom DeLay would not act by himself. He is a smart man, and I'm going to say this also. He is a man who's interested in the Republican Party moving forward, and he's also a guy who can count votes better than anybody else.
Your answer to the survival of Newt Gingrich?
I think he's going to survive through reconciliation, and I think...
through reconciliation?
Through
How long
reconciliation.
Is that? How long is that?
I think 3, 4, 5 months, and
and then what happens?
If things go well, then I think we keep our leadership intact and move forward to the elections.
All right,
if they don't go well, then my problem's not with Newt Gingrich, my problem's with the entire leadership team in the Republican Party.
Republican Congressman Bill Paxton of New York, who resigned his party leadership post over the fracas, says he was not involved in the attempted coup. He says his mistake was failing to let Gingrich know about the plot early on. After 2 days of silence, NASA has re-established communications with the Mars Pathfinder spacecraft. NASA suspects a malfunctioning antenna in Spain caused them to lose the signal, but they have not ruled out a problem with equipment on Mars. The Sojourner rover is still at the rock nicknamed Scooby-Doo, waiting for its next orders. Russian space officials are expected to announce their plans today for repairing the Russian space station Mir. They say their current crew is too tired and stressed to fix Mir. The team has been battling mechanical problems caused by last month's collision with a cargo ship. Officials say 2 cosmonauts set to arrive August 7th are better trained to make the repairs. The storm that was once Hurricane Danny is churning its way northeast across Alabama and Mississippi. Rain is expected and flooding will continue to be a threat. Mobile and Baldwin counties in South Alabama have been hit hard by the weekend storm. It dropped more than 30 inches of rain in some areas. Many residents along the Fish River were forced to leave their homes because of flooding. Dozens of roads and hundreds of low-lying homes are damaged or destroyed.
I'm about a 40-year resident of this community. When you get in excess of 20, 25 inches of rain, this has been known to occur. We've actually had folks, probably in 1955, where you could ride a boat down this road here. So we haven't had this type of rainfall in that many years.
The storm is blamed for the death of a man who drowned when his boat capsized in the Gulf. Well, if weather conditions are favorable, Old Ironsides should set sail at noon today in Massachusetts Bay. The 200-year-old USS Constitution will sail under its own power for the first time in 116 years. It was towed from its home in Boston to Marblehead Harbor yesterday. Today's trip will be an hour-long, 5-mile sail for the nation's oldest commissioned warship.
History. And the opportunity to walk these decks aboard this ship, now at sea and soon under sail, is really an opportunity that few in today's Navy have ever had before. And really it is something special for all of us. It really conveys the traditions of the service, the honor, courage, and commitment that are so much a part of our Navy today.
Old Ironsides has undergone a 4-year, $12 million renovation. Well, following Saturday's collision of 2 private planes over Lake Michigan, the FAA is investigating whether the control tower was adequately staffed to handle a busy weekend. Rescue divers have found the body of a 7th person from the accident. 5 women and 2 men were killed. Both planes are believed to have been in contact with air controllers. Friends and family of those who died on TWA Flight 800 a year ago last week are still striving for a sense of closure. Yesterday, many of them watched the unveiling of a memorial to the 230 victims at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City. The tribute marked the last in a series of memorials over the past few days. The government of British Prime Minister Tony Blair is being accused of double-dealing in its negotiations with the Irish Republican Army. The charges come from David Trimble, head of Northern Ireland's most powerful pro-British Unionist party. Blair and Trimble will meet this morning to discuss specifics of the latest IRA ceasefire, which took effect yesterday. Trimble is concerned about the surrender of weapons by IRA guerrillas. With peace talks set to resume, Trimble is demanding the IRA hand over arms at the start. In Moscow, church bells are ringing again, a sign religious freedom has returned. Ulrika Nilsson explains.
It was a joyous day for Moscow's Orthodox community. After years of anticipation, a huge ceremonial bell was being raised to hang in the tower of the Christ the Savior Cathedral. Patriarch Alexei II and Moscow's mayor Yuri Kushkov proudly oversaw the event, chiming the bell one last time before its hoisting. The new bell tolls loudly across the center of Moscow, but for members of the Russian Orthodox community, it's more than a delightful sonance. It's the sound of victory. 65 years ago, the cathedral was destroyed by the order of the communist government under Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin. State-sponsored atheism resulted in the destruction of churches across Russia and in the oppression of those who believed in God. With that, the spiritual and historically honored craft of casting bells was almost lost. A new generation of bellcasters have had to rediscover the secrets of the craft by researching books and experimenting on their own.
When the old bellcasters died off, the craft died with them. So the new generation of casters has managed not to restore the craft, but to create it anew.
The art of bell ringing suffered a similar fate, but now students who want to learn the complex tonal systems, rhythms, and melodies of bell ringing are coming to Moscow from across the country to study the ancient skill. Workers are scurrying to finish the last details in time for the celebration of Moscow's 850th anniversary this fall. There, it will stand as a reminder to Russia's religious community of the triumph over Soviet oppression. Ulrika Nilsson, CNN reporting.
Coming up in Dollars and Cents, baby boomers are causing a boom in the recreational vehicles industry. And still ahead, a monument to communism becomes a tourist attraction in Hungary.
This is the CNN Headline News Network.
If you're like me, you're pretty busy. You're in school, you have great friends, maybe you even have a part-time job. But you can still do something good for the people in your hometown. MDA makes it easy for you to organize a volunteer event at your school or even just among you and your friends. You can bowl, bike, walk, dance, all for a good cause. To learn more, call 1-800-FIGHT-MD. Then get ready for some fun. MDA, it's not just a good cause, it's a good time.
This is Hugh. This is my son. He started on drugs when he was 16, and I can't tell you how much I hated it. I chased Hugh and his friends out of the house when I caught them smoking pot. But I was afraid to get too tough. Afraid that Hugh would shut me out and I would lose my relationship with my son. Drugs controlled his life. Drugs robbed him of his ability to love. Drugs killed his conscience. When his life became filled with horrifying hallucinations, he ended his life. Get between your kids and drugs any way you can if you want to save the kid's life.
Fishermen have been ordered by a Canadian court to end their blockade of an Alaskan ferry in British Columbia. They're protesting against U.S. fishermen intercepting salmon bound for Canadian waters. About 150 boats have surrounded the ferry since Saturday. Protesters burned an American flag yesterday as ferry passengers shouted obscenities at them. They say they won't move until they talk with Canada's fisheries minister. That could happen today. Many baby boomers looking to spend some quality time with their families are hitting the open road. Casey Wyan reports that's just fine with the growing recreational vehicle industry. Apparently, we're not going to see that package at the moment, but we'll go on to give you the latest update on sports, baseball scores, and more next in CNN Headline Sports.
See you guys at 6.
All right, Dad.
Thank you for holding.
Yes, my oldest son has just been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and our doctor says he needs to be hospitalized for a short term, and I had to call for authorization.
One moment while I check the record. I'm sorry, but your insurance plan doesn't cover mental illness.
Why? Our doctor says that schizophrenia is a brain disorder, that treatment works.
I understand that, ma'am, but your plan just doesn't cover it.
But we have the best policy the company offers. My son is really sick. How can I not be covered?
Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do.
Mom, do I have to go to school today?
This year, hundreds of thousands of American families will discover they have no insurance coverage for brain disorders, such as schizophrenia, major depression, and manic depression. For a free consumer guide to help you understand your insurance plan, call the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill at 1-800-950-6264.
There's a storm brewing at the Connors.
The tornado watch is in effect for Fulton County.
Hey, that's us!
So batten down the hatches.
Now, Dan, this is an emergency. We need real food like caramel corn and cheese puffs.
Grab the kids. Secure the family.
I can't believe Jackie's still out there.
And hold on to your hats.
We gotta take cover. It's coming this way.
Teacher's blowing her top.
There's absolutely no rhyme or reason to it. Have you been talking to Mom?
On the next Roseanne.
Something Rosie, something for everyone, Monday at 5:30 on Fox 28.
CNN, Headline Sports. Barry Sanders is all signed up in Detroit. The perennial All-Pro has inked a 5-year deal with the Lions. Sanders' agent says it will be worth $5.71 million a year with a 6-year option. That makes Sanders the highest-paid player in the NFL. To baseball, we start with Hideki Arabu on the hill for his third start in pinstripes. Dave Nielsen says, "I'll show you international baseball," the Australian with a 2-run bomb. Arabu gives up 6 earned runs on 7 hits over 6 2/3. The big fella falls to 2-1 as the Brew Crew win it 6-2. Tigers-Rangers, bottom 7 at 6-4 Tigers, but Juan Gonzalez rips one down the third base line for a 2-run double. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Rusty Greer against A.J. Sager, and that one went so far that no Tiger could catch it. Rangers win 7-6. Mariners up 5-1 on the Royals in the 7th. Jamie Moyer to Chili Davis, and that's a 3-run jack. So the Mariners go to the bullpen. Could they blow another one? No! Bob Wells gets the job done for a 5-4 win. The Angels keep pace. Luis Alicea with a monster day. He goes deep in the 4th for a 2-run jack. Alicea 3 for 4, 2 runs, 3 RBI on the day. Chuck Finley, win number 8. The Angels stay a half game behind Seattle. Frank Thomas, 4 for 5, a home run, and 4 RBI for the White Sox. Charles Nagy goes 7 innings for win number 10. To the National League, and Andy Ashby had the Marlins numbered. The righty struck out 6 over 7 innings for a 3-0 win. Tony Gwynn, 0 for his last 10, down to 388. Kevin Foster got bombed by the Rocks on Sunday. Vinny Castilla, Larry Walker again. Foster coughed up 4 jacks. Rocks win 9-5, their first road win since June 24th. Larry Walker up to 395. The Astros' Darryl Kyle was brilliant in Montreal. Kyle threw a complete Game 4-hit shutout. He caged 6 for his 13th win and lowered the ERA to 1.99. The Astros got 2 home runs from Luis Gonzalez in a 9-0 win. Barry Bonds hit his 24th homer of the year. Kurt Reeder picks up win number 7. The Giants have a 3-game lead in the West. The Mets have won 4 in a row. Todd Hundley homered from both sides of the plate. New York, 13 games over 500 for the first time in 6 years. Chan Ho Park strikes out a career-high 11 for the Dodgers. John Smoltz has won only 2 of his last 11 starts. The Phillies have won. Garrett Stevenson, 6 2/3 strong innings for win number 4. To the British Open, Justin Leonard fires a final round 65 to win by 3 strokes over Jesper Parnevik and Darren Clark. Leonard has trailed Parnevik by 5 strokes coming into Sunday, and that makes his final round performance the biggest Sunday comeback at the British Open since 1925. To NASCAR, Dale Jarrett gets the win at the Pennsylvania 500. Jeff Gordon moves back to the top of the point standing. Sam Tiggs, CNN, Headline Sports.
This is the CNN Headline News Network.
Next time on Cheers, Sam's got a question for his local representative.
Do you like Chinese food? And if so, have you ever eaten it in the bathtub?
Well, Councilwoman?
Yes, and, no comment.
Looks like the lady just got Sammy's vote, but Diane's got her suspicions.
She's a vote-getter. So what? So when the election's over, it's so long, Sam.
Sammy just a political pawn? Next time on Cheers.
Something Cheers, something for everyone, Monday at 10:30 on Fox 28.
This is Dennis Michael with the Hollywood Minutes. Daryl Hannah is doing Mars. Daily Variety reports the actress has joined Jeff Daniels, Christopher Lloyd, and Elizabeth Hurley in the cast of My Favorite Martian. Ray Walston, the original television Martian, is also joining the cast. Sting's back catalog is apparently big business. Daily Variety reports EMI has entered into a worldwide publishing deal worth $35 million with Sting. It also covers his next 5 albums. The end of the relationship means the end of the movie as well. The Associated Press reports Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow won't star together in duets after all. The film was originally set up to be directed by Paltrow's father, Bruce Paltrow. The filmmaker told The Hollywood Reporter trade paper, quoting here, "They don't need to have this hanging over them." This is Dennis Michael with the Hollywood Minute.
Some say the competition was neck and neck. In Castle Rock, Colorado, people flocked to the Douglas County Fairgrounds for the Rocky Mountain Ostrich Fest. It took adventurous riders to climb up and race the ostriches, and the loser probably went off to bury his head in the sand. NASA's Sojourner spacecraft might not have any competition yet, but some students in Japan have found some interesting uses for robots. They're competing in the 7th annual College Robot Contest. Some of the entries include a robot that can shampoo a person's head and one that plays the guitar. Top prize went to a xylophone-playing robot that serenaded the crowd with versions of several popular songs. After the fall of communism in Eastern Europe, many of its leaders' likenesses were laid to rest in an unusual Hungarian graveyard. Jackie Szymanski explains.
Chubby cherubs, Rubenesque women who bask under a baking Budapest sun. And Lenin, hidden away from any self-respecting sculpture, a monument to a monumental failure. Communist headstones make that heads of stone.
The cult of personality which raised some leaders almost to the status of God.
Not many Hungarians would say that, and even fewer come here. But the place is a must-see for tourists.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised how each one is neatly placed like it was originally. I thought they were just going to trash them.